Many thanks for choosing us. More chaos is marring the ongoing MPP's election of polling station executives at the Hemang Lower Denchra Constituency. This morning, hundreds of party supporters have been up in arms with the MP constituency and regional executives over what they call a fraudulent polling station elections. The aggrieved members say they picked forms to contest the elections only for acclamation to be done at dawn without their knowledge. They accuse the MP for the area, Bright Rekubrobe, and the constituency party chairman for masterminding the acts. The party supporters have currently besieged the party's regional office for them to nullify all the acclamations that were done in order for fresh elections to be done. We'll be going live to the constituency shortly for the latest, but first, here are excerpts of what happened earlier. Meanwhile, leadership of the governing NPP has condemned the actions of some irate youth in the Yendi constituency, which led to the destruction of party property and party signboards in the area. The angry youth claimed the MP for the area, Farouk Aliyu Mahama, is trying to stuff the voters' register in order to get his favorite candidates elected, a situation they believe undermines the electoral process for the election of the polling station executives. Listen to some of them.
The movement of coordinator, Nail Fong South Electoral Area Coordinator, the secretary to the movement of coordinators in Yendi constituency. Our message is simple and clear. We have witnessed some corrupt compilation of our constituency police station executive album. And I have witnessed in 2013, in 2017, we've never compiled our police station executive album anywhere apart from Yendi. This time, what we are witnessing is that we, the constituency chairman, and some serious executive in Yendi do not know where to locate the album. Meanwhile, we were told they form a committee headed by one gentleman from Tamale, representing the regional chairman of MPP, which they're supposed to hold a meeting in Yendi here, discuss among themselves, and resolve on an issue which is going to be compilation of our new register. They set a meeting and concluded in the meeting that they are maintaining all police station executives who were there in the 2020 election because of the hard work that they were able to expedite. Today, we have witnessed some social media pictures and album indicating that there are some slight or heavy changes in this our old police station executive album, which we are here to register our displeasure to the constituency executive, that we will not take it, we will fight it, we will do everything possible within our means to make sure that what we use to compile our police station register is what we are going to, but any fake register will not take it. No individual in Yendi or wherever is bigger than the people of Yendi. We are more united before some people join us. We want to see them running away, and we'll still be united. Thank you very much.
I'm Abukar Abdullah Fisheni, the electoral area coordinator for Yendi Senior High School electoral area. Yeah, we are here this morning to express our displeasure about what is going on in this constituency. Over the few days ago, we realized that there have been a register flying on social media purported to be coming from the MP and his caucus, telling us that this is the register they have built for the constituency. But prior to the building of the register, we were told on radio, and the constituency secretary met police station chairmen, secretaries, and coordinators and informed them that no existing police station executive will be removed from the album. But today, the album that is in the social media circulating is reported to have removed about 165 existing police stations. What we realized in that register, in that so-called fake register, is that they have put family and friends, husband and wives, and people who are also there who do not vote in the various police stations that they put them as executives.
But Director of Elections for the governing NPP, Evans Nimakon, has described the actions of the youth as unfortunate. He also charged the regional executives to probe the disturbances and submit a report to the leadership.
Party members in Yendi constituency should exercise patience and use party arrangement to seek for information. I'm aware that at the commencement of this whole exercise, petition was submitted to the national office for procurement of forms, and that was given. I'm aware the committee has been working, and this committee is composed mainly of constituency executive, constituency chairman, secretary, research and elections, electoral, IT coordinator, council of elders and patrons. All these personalities are from the constituency. They are not from the national secretariat. It is only the regional rep who is from the regional executive committee. And so where it is based on allegation, it really baffles my mind. I expected that the leadership of this group will take steps to reach out to the national secretariat. They petitioned national secretariat. They went to court. They were at court Friday in Tamale. So I'm surprised that today this is the action they will undertake. It is very unfortunate, and we will want the regional party to go into it and submit a report to the party leadership for an action to be taken. The party has also sent out nomination forms for electoral area coordinators elections for the process to start. And so an internal elections processes are ongoing. Strictly, we want the committee to comply with the directives given. We also expect membership to show high level of discipline. I mean, some of the things that sometimes we see are alien to the new patriotic party. I'm urging members who feel aggrieved to submit petition, and they will be given hearing. We are seeing Yendi. It's unfortunate. I expected that the directive given that people should resort to internal arrangement would have followed. They didn't hit to that. They went to court. And so once we are at court, we are in the hands of the court. And if you are seeing this, you've gone to court Friday and Monday morning, you are undertaking this act, it's unfortunate. And party leadership will take action on these things.
But exactly what action would you take on this?
Our party constitution is clear that if you fail to comply with internal arrangement to seek review, decisions are there to be followed by the disciplinary committee.
Let's get on to the line and speak with correspondent Richard Kwejonyako. He joins us live with more from the Lower Hemang constituency. Richard, I need you to paint a picture of the current situation in Lower Hemang Densra for us. We lost Kwejo Nyako. We'll bring him back to tell us more on this particular one that is brewing in the Lower Hemang constituency. Now, Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor says he's in good health and ready to stand trial. He told the Tema High Court he is rather concerned about whether the state will follow through with the case against him. He made these comments when the Tema High Court, presided over by Justice Daniel Mensah, adjourned the case involving him to Wednesday, March 16, to deliver a ruling. This is a ruling on a bail application filed by the youth activist. He has, through his lawyers, assured the court he will show up to stand trial when needed, despite the severity of the offense of treason felony leveled against him. The Attorney General disagrees, and Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us with more. He's our man in court. Joseph, run us through the arguments in support of the bill request. Joseph Akable is standing by for us. Before he speaks to us, let's listen to lawyers of Oliver Barker-Vormawor.
We thank Ghanaians so much, those who are following this case, and Ghanaians who are so much concerned about what is happening right now in court. I can't prejudicial over some case pending in court right now, but what I will say is we thank the judge who sat over the case today. Like you heard, he said he has gathered, he's really certain with whatever judgment he wants to rule out there. We are just waiting for it, but all we are pleading is that let the rule of law work. If every single Ghanaian deserves a bill when it hits this point, at least Oliver is not different from it. He's supposed to be granted bail just like any other citizen. The country has to protect its citizens and not to scare them. Okay, so we are just hoping that the judge on Wednesday, as they've adjourned the case, will come out and give his ruling. And we are hoping that Oliver will be granted bail so that the police can continue with whatever investigations due to make sure that they come out with a conclusion of this case. That is all we are hoping.
Will you be surprised if he's not granted bail?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because it is just a history repeating itself. This happened in 1954, okay, when Nkrumah rose up fighting for this country. Okay, so it has happened. It's not only Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Samula Marcels, Patrick Mulumba. History is just repeating itself. Okay, when you rise up in your country to fight, you need to be ready for all this kind of intimidations.
Joseph Akable is on the line with us. Now, Joseph, run us through the arguments in support of the bill request. Joseph Akable? Joseph Akable?
Hello, Aisha.
Yes, run us through what transpired in court. I mean, we understand there are arguments in support of the bill request.
Yes, so first, the lawyers for the Fix the Country campaigner are led by Akoto Power addressed the court, and the main issue that they raised was to assure the court that they failed to show the investigators where he lived. They say that he actually led them to 3 separate locations, which were assessed by the investigators. They also make the point that in terms of the warrant that was shown to him to enable them to have access to his mobile phone, they say that they only wanted an independent process for that search to be conducted investigators. But this was rejected by Senior State Attorney Hilda Craig. She told the court that he is actually a lodger. That's how he described the Fix the Country campaigner, that he had led them to 3 different locations, none of which had him as the owner of that residence or even as a tenant residing there. That cannot be enough assurance that he will show up to stand trial. Despite having access to his passport, he explains that that is not an adequate assurance that he will show up to stand trial. And so she urged the court to deny the request for bail. And so the court adjourned.
Oja, tell us more about that.
They say that in terms of the various places where he resides when he comes into the country, none of those locations are places that he, even in the lease terms, a tenant over there. So the 3 places that he took them to, they said one is the law office, the second is a residence of a lawyer, where.
So that's our correspondent in court, Joseph Akable. He's been telling us about what transpired in court today. The man at the center of the whole confusion says he's ready for trial. His lawyers have been arguing speak with Richard Kwejonyako, who is monitoring the MPP polling executives elections in the Lower Hemang constituency, where there's been confusion this morning. Richard, what is the situation currently as we speak in that area?
Well, so this of the MPP, they are seeking answers, they are seeking annulment of the purported elections they did. They said that they picked forms to contest the polling station elections, only for them to see acclamations being done at dawn. Some were done at 2 a.m., others 1 a.m., others at 3 a.m. People have sent the matter to court, and so they were in court, praying that the court will annul the elections so that fresh elections would be done. But after court, they have come to the party regional office. They want the region to get the matter out of court so that they could hold fresh door because it was locked, and none of the regional party executives were here. They have faulted the MP for the area, the party chairman, as well as some of the regional party people for such an act, and so they want the right thing to be done.
And how are the MP, the executives responding to this kind of confusion?
Well, so they had to virtually drive out of the court in top speed, and so we have not been able to get some answers from them, and that is why they have come to the regional office. We're hoping that we'll get some of the regional executives to speak with them, but luck did not smile at us, and so there is no one here at the party regional. We'll count up to about 23 cars. They packed them, and then they are here. All the cars are packed here, and they are out. The young, the old, and then the youth. They are all here in their numbers. They are protesting. They want the right thing to be done. Otherwise, peace wouldn't return.
I will bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Now, attorney at law, Florida Bar, and fellow in public law and justice at CDD Ghana, Professor Pikworo, is arguing that the provisions for a presiding or Speaker of Parliament maintaining his original vote has been clarified since 9. Professor Pikworo, who was contributing to a panel discussion on the Speaker's voting rights on Joy News following the Supreme Court judgment on the controversial legal debate, suggested that a judgment should have taken into consideration the historical antecedents of the Speaker's voting rights.
Experiences of 1969, the non-MP Speaker was retained, but this time it was decided that he will be assisted. The 1992 Constitution also retained. So when you do that evolution, you can learn a whole lot of things. So for instance, let's go back to the 19 in have neither an original nor a casting vote, the Speaker. Okay? Remember, that Speaker was a member of Parliament. That Speaker was a member of the National Assembly, now, nor a casting vote. But more important, Article 42B of the 1957 Constitution provided that any person, including the Deputy Speaker, shall, when it specifically had a voice on whether or not the Deputy Speaker has an original or a casting vote, and it also told us that the MP learned some lessons. So we went to 1969. In the 1969 Constitution, at Article 82(1), it also now nor a casting vote. And this is important because the Speaker at this time was not a member of Parliament. The Speaker at this time was not a member of Parliament. Speaker who is not a member of Parliament, it is directed to somebody who is a member of Parliament who performs the function of the Speaker. So in 1969, on the Deputy Speaker having an original, this drop was not some accident. It was constitutional framers looking at our history, looking at the 1957 Constitution, and learning from that and deciding that this notion that a Deputy Speaker or a person presiding will retain an original vote was Obnoxious shall have neither an original nor a casting vote, and there's no reference to a deputy speaker. And finally, we have the 1992 Constitution, which basically copies from the 1979 Constitution and explicitly rejects the language of the analysis, is what I want to see when the court is making a determination as to whether from 1979 and 1969 is constitutional or not.
Yes.
Executive Director of CDD Ghana, Professor Kwesi Prempeh, indicated that though he agrees with the argument advanced by Professor Kweku Asare, he expressed worry about the over-reliance on the adversarial judicial system practiced in the country, while raising concerns about the interference of the Attorney General in
our adversarial system of justice. We operate an adversarial system of justice, which means that in a matter before a court, the court relies on the advocacy of the two sides to tease out the issues before the court, the issues, the arguments, and the like, right? And we make sure we try to zealously argue the point. So the private plaintiff here is just like you and I, just like you, me, Kweku, any other citizen of Ghana. It's an Article 2 plaintiff, have a special interest in the matter, or an interest in the matter that is larger than the interest of you, me, and Kweku. So they are a nominal plaintiff. The real party in interest, who is not before the court, is really someone with a more substantial proceedings, right? The custodian of those rules. It is that person or that party whose rules, whose actions are the court to have the most zealous advocacy before court for the purposes of our adversarial judicial system. You have to find that interest in this case. Now, I have a problem, so issue. Even though they may not be the most zealous advocates of the points that they are trying to push. And yet, because we will all be affected by the outcome of an Article 2 case, because it's a constitutional case, the court must make some effort. So that's my number one. The second point is that the Attorney General for government, and in certain matters involving other or independent branches of government or agencies of state, I think that it is joined or the only defendant in the matter. Right? So, for example, we have done that with the EC. I recall that I think in the 1990s, I think it was Attorney General over there somewhere, and one. I think that is actually the appropriate model, that certain agencies of state, of the executive or of government, that it is a bit unseemly to have the Attorney General representing them in matters where their interests actually may well clash with that of the Attorney General.
You had our respond, but it will interest you to know that Paga also is all home to the Pikworo slave camp, which is a very important historical landmark for the country, although little is known of it. Dating back to as early as 1704, the slave camp is known to be a place where slaves from northern Ghana and southern Burkina Faso were often kept for several days before they were caught. Ghana Man series Joy News' Upper East Region correspondent Albert Story puts a spotlight on the Pikworo slave camp located in the Nanea, a suburb of Paga in the Kasena-Nankana West District.
Pikworo in the Kasem language simply means a lot of rocks. And it was so named, obviously, because of the rocky, hilly nature of the area. The history has it that in the early 18th century, this place was a thick forest and tampered with by humans, until one day, a strange to people who wanted to travel abroad to work with white people. Pikworo was allocated to this man because he wanted a place to stay. It turned out he was a slave capturer.
Around 1704, a young man who was even named Kasem Bagao, meaning a bushman. And this man, according to history, he could speak so many local languages. He was physically and spiritually strong, and he was having weapons which were given to him by the white people. So he came and started the whole business here in small scale, capturing young men and ladies, keeping them here. From here, he take them to Salaga slave market, where they were sold out to retail.
Joseph Kugoramu is a tour guide here at the Pikworo slave camp. He takes us on a tour of the camp. First, we learn of the arrival place for the slaves in those days. The slaves were often tied to these trees upon a rail. On the hill, they drank water from this small well here on the rocks. It is believed to date that this well never dries up. Meals for the slaves were also prepared here on the rocks. The meals were served for the slaves to eat in these little were their plates. After meals, the slaves were entertained in a rather interesting way.
Over here, slaves were brought anytime they finished their supper in the evening to this place, which sound differently if you hit any part of them, slightly different like the traditional drums we have in the village.
The type of music performed on these rocks in the days of the slave trade has remained with the people of Paga even to date. We are also shown this rock, which was used as a watchtower by the slave man to escape. The final point of the Pikworo slave camp is what was called the Punishment Rock, and then the cemetery.
As the slaves were very tall and they were giants, to sit on the rock with your eyes widely open watching the sun. And the punishment starts from sunrise from the east. So you were watching the sun as it rises from the east, follow the sun with your eyes widely open and accompany the sun till it set in the west. That is almost 12 hours here during the punishment. And if you try to close your eyes, you were accompanied by beatings. Many were not for cemetery.
As old as the Pikworo slave camp is, it was never converted into a tourist site until the year 2000. But even then, many Ghanaians upon or decoration of the site and no ancillary facilities to attract tourists.
Normally, we don't get visitors. Sometimes in a week, we can get 2 or 3 visitors in a week, a whole week.
Per Charles Awia Awampaga II is the paramount chief in this year. He says throughout his reign, he has tried in many ways to get the needed support for the Pikworo slave camp to make it as popular as the Paga Crocodile's Pond, but to no avail.
At first, we don't know. That's why I came out to bring it out. At first, people from Switzerland and other places, they used to come there. They help a lot. But they stopped almost 3 years ago. They don't come again. Since it's a tourist center.
For the Ghana Man series here on Joy News, my name is Albert Sorry, reporting from the Pikworo slave camp in the Nania town of Paga.
And back in the studio in Accra, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Let's take a break and we'll return. There's the very latest.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. More oil marketing firms are increasing fuel prices at the pumps even ahead of the official date for review. The latest is Total Oil, which is selling a liter of petrol and diesel at 8 cedis.
Is by Total Oil follows a similar move by Shell last week, as data shows that their prices gone up by over 2% per liter. For some, the adjustments can be described as interesting, as it is ahead of the expected 2-week window review. The last review by most of the oil marketing firms was in the first week of this month. The next adjustment should have taken place from the 16th of this month. It is not clear for now what has influenced this move by some of the major oil marketing firms. However, some of the players in the industry have told Joy Business that they are still strict in Ghana Cedi. This is because they are still not been able to break even with the current pricing structure. Joy Business checks again shows that based on the prices that Total and Shell have announced, that is still the lowest band that they are working with, as a litre of diesel and petrol should have been selling at more than 9 Ghana. But some of the oil marketing firms have told Joy Business that the main indicator here is the Ghana Cedi. So even if crude prices should reduce further today and the city doesn't stabilize firmly going forward, fuel prices may still be going up, but at a lower margin.
81.6% of respondents of a survey carried out by the Center for Economics, Finance and Inequality Studies however, did not have any knowledge about the E-levy. Charles Nixon has been going through the findings, which had Dr. Benjamin Amwa of the University of Ghana Business School and Professor Anthony Amwa as lead researchers.
13.5% of the respondents held the view that the E-levy should be passed into law and implemented. However, a small population of 4.9% were of the view that it should be passed after this year. Also, 1,679 of the respondents out of the 2,650 were aware of the E-levy. This implies assess the nation's fiscal position concerns. It came out that 64.6% were categorical that Ghana needs more money. Those who held a contrary view made up of 25.9%, with a position that there is no need to increase government revenue. On the country's rising debt, 91.8% of the respondents are concerned.
The Center says it is poised to bring life to the aspirations of the Sustainable Development Goal 4 on education to support economic development. The Business Educational Center says it will spearhead the agenda of supporting Ghanaian students in their quest to develop more business ideas.
Daniel Opon said there is a need for Ghanaian students to concentrate on education to aid in the economic growth and development of the country. He added that students who develop information technology skills from the Western world should impact and push the Ghanaian economy forward.
Especially even last year, we sent over 142 students to UK and other countries, basically. Say they should calm down, relax. They can also help them to stay wherever they are, because they don't have to necessarily come back home and go back again. Once the government is there to support them, I believe that it's very important that they stay. They shouldn't come back.
Globe Educational Center is one of the leading education providers.
It's coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Do stay with us. More news after this break.
Time now for sports. On Joy News today with me, Muftao Nabila Abdullahi. The Ghana Football Association, the National Sports Authority, has made contact with the Confederation of African Football to consider the Bawayara Sports Stadium as the alternative venue for Ghana's World Cup qualifier playoff against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. This was two West African nations. Well, the National Sports Authority had written to the Ghana Football Association on January 25, 2022, asking that the GFA consider moving the game to either the Accra Sports Stadium or the Bawayara Sports Stadium. And on January 28, the Ghana Football Association wrote to the Confederation of African Football. On January 29, CAF, in a response to the Ghana Football Association, told them the venue cannot be used to host the World Cup qualifier because it was not considered in the first place. Again, the Confederation of African Football told the Ghana Football Association that if they wanted to change the venue, they should have made the request 90 clear days before the request by the Ghana Football Association was out of the window. Well, on Sunday, there were officials from CAF at the Bawayara Sports Stadium inspecting the facility to find out whether it will be available to host the game, following what many have described as a presidential project which will ensure that Ghana hosts the game. If the Bawayara Sports Stadium and the Cape Coast or Morocco. Now let's talk about Ghana Premier League stories now. And Accra Hearts of Oak, who are defending champions of the Ghana Premier League, their head coach Salman fight till the end, despite the Phobians being 15 points behind leaders Kumasi Asante Kodoko.
No, it's not yet over. This football, sometimes you could see the boys, they did well, they play well. But it's quite unfortunate. The first chance, we got the first chance to score. And we didn't score that chance. And then the goal that they score is not a chance that they got it and they punish us. But boys didn't try, say, mobile fighter, say, we cancel the goal and come back to winning way. But it's quite unfortunate. Say, we always, your training, these are the mistakes, yet me identify, you bet me, I am Wojima. Yes, 1 day or 2 days. It takes matter of time. Say, bet me, are working on the attackers for their finishing. So, you create a chance there. I think, say, it will be the problem for the technical, but individual brilliant, the courage, and the composure. No, we need to talk about it so that it goes to bet me about.
Now, when a gamer, Umisi Sule Mutari, of course, over the last 4 or 5 matches, Sule is very instrumental. One more be well Lusuaha, a gamer of the year.
Although Obiano Abagasa Sule, I want the team and actually the type of gamer and that's the contribution towards and I say, mixing our bit like I say, but all the same, the boys did well, but the luck is not on our side, and tactically we have to improve on our tactics so that we can bounce back.